Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Art Whisper 88. And on your screen I have here two of my monoprints, and these measure 8.5 by 11. Let me just double check. Yep, 8.5 by 11, and these are cardstock paper, and this is in response to a question from a viewer on how I frame my work. And I have here two 8 by 10 frames. These are ready-made frames from Michaels, and these are 11 inch by 14 inch, and they do have a mat. Whether or not I use the mat, I will find out. And let's see, they came out to $7.99 a piece. So I think this is a very reasonable price for a frame that's ready-made with a glass, and you can do this yourself at home. You don't need to spend a lot of money if you want to frame your favorite prints or artwork or photographs. I'll put a link in the description below for michaels.com. This is not an endorsement or a paid message, but I just like to share this information because I find this is a very reasonable and affordable solution. Okay, I've lifted up all the metal tabs, and now I'm going to gently lift this backing board off, and okay, and here I save these. These can be used for many things, either stencil or as a backing paper. Now this is just like a piece of cardstock that is cut in the shape of a mat. It's not really the best kind of paper. I mean, because it's a cheap filler, but I may or may not use this. Okay, so what I usually do is I'm not going to bother taking this out because these can be a problem. So I like using this product. This is glass foam. It's a glass cleaner, which I got from Home Depot. And you don't need a whole lot. And just make sure that the glass is free of smudges. Now usually when you open the package, it's fairly clean, but I'm just making sure that there's no smudges or dust. Okay, so I'm going to put this aside. Now here is that mat that I talked about. See, it can be done this way. You can use the mat like so. Okay, that's one way of doing it. Here, let me do a close-up so you can see. And I usually have to expose the bottom part because that's where the signature and the date is, right there. Okay, this is one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is going like this and placing the artwork on top instead of inside the mat. And then what I do is I just put a tiny drop of glue on the corners. And what happens, it's going to have this float effect. It would be like a float mat. And the look, you can get that look at a very low cost. I think I'm going to do it the second way. I'm not going to put the mat on top. I'm going to mount this, and I will use, as a glue, I will use Mod Podge. Okay, because it's very safe glue. It's non-toxic, and it's something that I am very accustomed to using. So anyways, I will just a tiny drop on each corner. And I'm just eyeballing this. Okay. I'm just going to press down for a few minutes so the glue will get activated. The same here for the two corners on the bottom. I do think it looks better when it's not inside the mat. You can see the outer borders, and you can also see the outer edges of the gel plate. I think it's a more natural look. Okay. So I'm going to take this is the backing board, and place this here. And then place this There. So now before I fold back all these metal tabs, let me just do a walk so you can see. Before I fold these guys back, I will check how this thing looks. And there you go. Okay. So I'm folding back these tabs, and I'm using the screwdriver because these tabs can cut you if you use your fingers without protection. And before doing this, I always like to check if there's any dust or speck of dirt. Otherwise, you have to open up the frame all over again. And I've done it so many times that you finish everything and then you find that there's a little hair or a little piece of dirt in the glass. It will drive you crazy. But here's the finished product, and I think it looks pretty decent for $7.99. It is a close-up. Okay, with the corners. I mean, I did spend quite a bit of time at Michael's going through the hundreds of frames and different price range. And I thought that a white frame would work best rather than using a black or a wood tone. This way, since everything is white, the print is the main subject matter. It does not get distracted by the frame. Okay, so that's one. I think it looks pretty good. So I'm going to move on to the next one. Okay. Again, I'm going to use the flat head part of the screwdriver and gently pry these up. One more, and then pry it up some more with my thumb. I'm just being careful not to cut myself. Okay. And then inside is this little piece of foam. I guess it's to keep it from shaking. Actually, this looks very clean, so I'm not going to use a glass foam. Sometimes when you clean it with a paper towel, you leave little pieces of lint. So sometimes it's best not to do anything. Okay, so now I'm going to center this. Again, I'm eyeballing it. Now, if you want to be super exact, you can put a tiny tick mark here and find the center point. But I think if you more or less find the middle part, that's good enough. Okay, so again with my Mod Podge, I just put 2 little dots. And the same here in the bottom, 2 tiny little dots of glue. And the key here is not to put too much glue, because at a future date, should you decide to change the frame, you won't have a problem removing this artwork. If there's too much glue, then you won't be able to take this piece out. But I think the frame looks good enough that there's no need for that. So anyways, that's it for the gluing. So again, I will place this. Make sure that this is right side up. Lay this like so. And I'll pop this back in. Okay, usually the second time around it gets a little easier. It's the first one that's problematic. Again, I'm folding these tabs down. I'm not using my fingers because they are sharp and can cut. Also, I forgot to mention, I am working on a piece of cardboard because it's best to have a barrier between the frame and the table. The table is much too hard of a surface, and it can scratch the face of the frame. So it's best to work on a soft surface, like a piece of fabric, or I prefer using a piece of clean cardboard. So let's see. Do a wide shot. There you go. Very attractive but budget-minded frame job. Okay, so let's compare the two. Let me switch this like this. And here's the second frame. Here's a close-up. So I hope you like this little demonstration for framing on a budget. It can be done. You don't have to spend lots of money to have an attractive frame job for a piece of artwork, whether it's your artwork or whether it's a favorite photograph. I can always count on the good deals at Michael's for picture frames. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time.